Master Mage, Season 1, Episode 7. Just in a few days, Master Jackie and Fang had got into a lot of trouble. Finally, they had killed Jin and the Zombie King. On top of that, they could take Sam back home safe and sound. The two of them got exhausted after all. Especially Fang. He had followed the Great Master in years, but that was the very first time he faced multiple troubles in a short amount of time. Anyways, that was a great chance for him to show off his abilities and check how he improved. After arriving home, Fang had forgotten about the punishment already of copying the talisman. He hit the sack right then without clothes changing. To Fang, the most important and happiest thing to him was having a good sleep. To be honest, Master Jackie and his apprentice had kept awakened in daze. Fang took a sleep 2 days in a row and didn't want to get up. Suddenly, there was an open door sound and resulted in someone stepping into the room. That was Master Jackie. No wonder. He held a big ruler in his hands and quietly watched his apprentice sleeping under the warm sunshine. Master Jackie got annoyed. He put up the ruler and hit Fang's body with a loud scrattle. That was a strong hit. Fang was diving deeply into his great dreams. Suddenly he felt the pain, resulted in his furrowed face and screamed out. He tabbed his ass because of the pain and wide opened his eyes and realized his master was in front of him. Master Jackie was not a cold-blooded person. He knew that Fang had a hard time and spent a lot of his energies on the battle earlier, but 2 sleeping and recovering days were more than enough. Fang had to get back on training. Fang saw Sam stood right next to his master, who was giggling because the lazy brother had been punished. He got mad at the little boy. The great master didn't care how the 2 of his apprentices reacted. He asked them to quickly pick up their breakfast, then go to the market to buy groceries. There was a fair in the market at that moment. Fang just got hit by his master painfully, but he didn't have a gut to resist his master. He came out to wash his face shortly. Fang then realized that Sam didn't know how to take a morning routine, so he told the little boy to mimic him washing his face and brushing his teeth. That day was not an easy day for him. Fang was supposed to. After washing faces, they came to the kitchen, where Master Jackie had prepared breakfast for them. Without hesitation, Fang pushed Sam to the table and taught him to greet Master Jackie. It was noon already. They had spent a long amount of time on their morning routine. During the breakfast, Master Jackie repeatedly told them about what they had to buy in the market. They had to buy Sam some clothes, no matter what. Sam had become a part of the family already. He needed to get changed later on. They had their own happiness at that moment. There was a warm atmosphere in the house called home, making Master Jackie smile happy at his apprentices. Fang heard that he was about to go to the market. He was on cloud 9 already. He always loved to go to the busy market full of delicious food, which would be much better staying at home for kung fu training. Fang hurriedly ate his full bowl of rice, and just in a blink of an eye, he could finish the bowl, then put it back on the table. Master Jackie got confused with his mischievous apprentice's reaction. He wondered what Fang wanted to do. Eventually, Fang asked him for some money. To buy things from the market, he needs money from the master. Without a complaint, Master Jackie took out a silver penny from his pocket and gave Fang. He also told Fang not to waste that valuable penny. Fang put the penny carefully to his bag. He waved Sam and excitedly took the little boy to head out of the house. The master yelled after him that he had to take care of the little boy and stay away from troubles in the market. It was just a few steps to reach the market from the house. The 2 brothers walked together excitedly. Master Jackie was very comfortable when seeing that. He stood at the door and followed the shadows of his apprentices until they disappeared in the crowd. The market was full of people at noon. People come and go. Noises were all around the place, which was so fresh to the little boy. Sam looked left and right consecutively, and everything was also new to Sam. All of a sudden, Sam yelled out. He saw people were gathering around a spot. There must have been something excited to see there. With the sparkles in his eyes, he held Fang's hands and pointed towards the crowd. They held hands, laughed so hard at each other, and then stepped towards the crowd. Sam was very agile. He quickly ran towards the crowd and threw his little body into them. Just a step after, Fang had to be all alone by himself. It turned out there was a circus. To Fang, he got used to that kind of show since he had watched the show multiple times. But to Sam, he was surprised, excitedly opened his eye and didn't want to miss a second. Everyone got impressed by an artist who was performing the balancing and holding a vase in his head. The vase's size was way bigger than his whole body. It looked really heavy, but the man was really flexible. He moved around and changed his pose multiple times, but the vase didn't fall out to the ground. The audiences were attracted by the performance and clapping their hands to encourage the artist. So did Sam. He clapped his hands so hard. Fang was dragging around here, there by the mischievous little boy who was new to everything and overexcited at the market. No wonder he had lived in the remote forest for years. At that moment, Fang could see that the little boy had found his innocent back and lived as a normal child at the moment. That was the very first time he had seen Sam with that happiness. Master Jackie asked Fang to take Sam outside for a reason, surely. Fang was like a parent. He had to keep an eye on the little boy, bought candy, snacks, and ran around with Sam, but he didn't feel annoyed at all. Walking a bit further to the market, they had walked by a theater, where people were screaming excitedly from the inside. Sam wanted to see the performance. Fang had to buy Sam a ticket to get in. The theater was very familiar to Fang. He had come there countless times before, where they hung some curtains on the ceiling and put some benches in front of the stage. After a few moments, Fang and Sam found a place next to the stage, sat down, and watched the play clearer. Sam excitedly focused his eyes on the stage. There was a narrator named Mr. Lay standing behind a table on the stage. He wore traditional clothes, with a wooden stick on his hands. He started the performance by hitting the stick strongly to the table and speaking out some poetry to introduce himself to the audience. Then, he started to narrate some thriller stories. While Sam was carefully listening to the narrator, Fang passed out and even snored aloud. He was kind of easy to sleep everywhere and every time. That was not like Mr. Lay didn't have an interesting way to lead the people to his story. Fang had heard his stories more than 100 times already. He had memorized them all. There was nothing to excite him out anymore. And so, Fang fell asleep until Mr. Lay's story came to the most exciting part. He snapped the stick on his hand strength to the table and startled Fang. The two of them left the theater at the end of the show, but as the playful kids, they wandered around the market instead of heading home with the master who was waiting worriedly for them at home. Eventually, they got hungry and quickly found a bite to eat at a food stand. They rarely had a chance to lunch out like that. They had to fill up their stomach with the delicious food in the market then. Fang and Sam ate until they were all full up. The silver penny from Master Jackie had nearly spent all out already. They had to buy stuff to bring home, but at that moment, they had not enough money to buy all of the stuff on their master's list. The two brothers gossiped about a lot of topics. Oof of the blue. A guy who was unable to stand up straight walked by them, who Fang had accidentally hit his shoulder on. Fang got pissed up since the guy didn't give him a proper apology. He wanted to turn back and talk to that guy, but Fang was unable to speak up. He just stood there frozen. Sam saw Fang was frozen. He curiously asked Fang what happened, then quickly pushed him to buy groceries for their master. Fang spoke up to his fellow about his head. The guy just hit Fang was walking without touching his heels to the ground. Fang fell in a panic, but shortly he realized that man must have lost his soul. After contemplating the situation, the two brothers decided to come after the guy to figure it out. Fang walked hurriedly ahead of the guy to identify the face clearly. Indeed, he could assure that the man had lost his soul already. He bore hollow eyes and jaw, soullessly, his mouth was wide opened. At first glance, Fang could see the man had been enchanted by dark magic. After tailing the man, they realized that the man was walking to a prostitute's house. When Fang faced up, he got flushed on the face. He thought about how that man came to a place like that. At the gate, the man was welcomed by the mama of the brothel, who saw Fang's reluctance as well at that moment. She came to Fang, gave Fang a big smile, and welcomed him inside as well. She had a thick makeup layer on her face. Looked at the young man with very light eyes. She repeatedly invited Fang to come inside where he would be serving the best services. Being at the age of 20s, but Fang was still a virgin, he was always shy once hearing those kinds of stuff. He had never experienced what happened inside a brothel. Every time he walked by the place, he faced down and passed by shortly. But that particular day, he had to save a mortal's life. He decided to step inside. Hearing the young man ask to go inside for a search, the mama approached him closer and replied to him with another tone of voice. She told Fang that every man came to her place, searched for someone, then asked him who he was looking for. Later on, the mama dragged him inside the house no matter how red his face was. Fang rushed inside without hesitation to escape from the mama. He looked around for the man earlier and saw that man was stepping to the second floor. After stepping upstairs, Fang realized that everything was far worse than his imagination. A group of people gathered in front of a room. They were all likely to be enchanted by something. Fang got frozen for a few seconds. Those men had the same facial expression. The mama watching the weird Fang could assure that Fang was about to mess up her place. She yelled out to call her guards to force him to go outside. Sam glared at those men about to grab Fang and push the young man out of the brothel. The little boy turned to be angry. He was unable to hold his temper. His eyes turned red and filled up with a dark aura shortly. Fang saw that. He had Sam to buy him time to save those enchanted men. He shortly came in front of those enchanted men, took out a small jar, poured something into his palm, and applied it to their noses. In the meantime, Sam jumped up and plunged towards those guards. Sam's body was very small and flexible. He messed up the place shortly and confused those guards. Those guards had to cover their faces to repeatedly dodge Sam's attacks, even though they had strong and large bodies. Sam had done a great job so far. Fang could give a relief sigh when seeing that. Fang continued to apply the liquid inside his jar to those standing men's noses. No one knows what exactly Fang had applied to those men's noses, but that worked on them. They could pull back their consciousness. It turned out the jar contained cat's urine, which helped people to clear up their minds and brain. After a few moments, those men were uncertain how they got to the brothel, and what happened in days was like a blank to them. Seeing people's confusion, Fang comforted them that there was a demon in the brothel. They had been possessed and controlled to get to the brothel. They better headed back, then found ginseng to eat, then their spirits would be settled down later. Hearing Fang's explanation, people could learn what happened. They were too afraid to stay there any longer, so they ran for their lives out of the brothel in a panic. After assuring that all of those men had run out of the brothel, Fang took out some talismans. He tried to keep his cool and started to stick the talismans around the room. The mama of the brothel was way too angry from what she could see. She was supposed that Fang and Sam had chased her customers away and ruined her business that day. She raised her voice and showered them with scolds. Fang didn't rush to explain to the mama until she came closer to him. He explained to the mama that a demon inside her brothel was attracting men, then dwelling on their living souls. Fang and Sam just wanted to give her a hand to catch up with the evil, kept her place clean and safe. Fang thought that the mama would be grateful for his assistance, but she got even angrier than before. She scolded him badly that he was trash talking to her. The room sticking by his talismans belonged to Yun, the most beautiful girl she had in the brothel. People had to get in line and gifted money just to see Yun every day. How she could believe that Yun was such an evil. Fang's face turned dark after seeing the mama's persistent attitude. Without further explanation, Fang kicked the door and stormed inside the room to prove that he was right. Right at the moment, the door was opened. They could see the two naked people in the bed. Yun was sitting in a man's legs and got startled by the forced door opening sound. She looked at Fang with her abnormal red eyes. Fang looked at the bed. The man got withered and turned to be a corpse. He had been drunk all of his spirits with a satisfied expression on his face. Yun slowly got out of the bed without any clothes. Fang's face got flushed after seeing the girl standing up straight. Sam stood there and had worried for him. Fang was just a young man who had never experienced that betting stuff. He knew the girl in front of him was evil, but he could not stop being shy in that circumstance. Anyways, he had managed to pull himself back so that he didn't get the attractive spell. Yun got mad at those trespassers. She showed her sharp nails and yelled out how they dared to storm to her private place and ruin her business. They would be punishment in no time. At first glance, she knew that Fang was not a normal person. Without hesitation, he introduced himself as well as an apprentice of the prestigious Maoshan group. Seeing the young and thin Fang and the little boy Sam, she didn't take any cautious in front of them. Regarding the mama and her guards, they just eyewitnessed Yun got back to her true evil form. They got shaken and ran for their life, without a turn back. On the opposite, Fang still kept his calm. Since he had already experienced many evil cases, he searched for his sword in the bag. Right at the moment, the demon used her sharp nails to touch them. He put up the sword and pointed at the demon with a shout. Resulting in a blue glow appeared on Fang's hands, made the devil dazzle. That was his magic mirror which had been transferred from his grandmaster. That was not like a normal magical mirror. The demon could not pair up to him. She could sense the danger and had to use her hands to cover up. In a blink of an eye, her skin got burnt badly due to the mirror lights. She screamed out loud and hid after the curtain. Half of her face got burned already, exposed her true evil face. Her white glassy skin, which had been cultivated from the man's living soul in years, had been destroyed just in a short amount of time. How she could accept that fact, she grinned her teeth in front of Fang. She wanted to grab Fang's neck and choke him to death, but she was too afraid of the magic mirror in his hand. Glaring at the opening windows nearby, she intended to jump out and escape there first, then get back to take revenge on Fang later on. The demon flew out of the windows in a red light form. Fang didn't seem to want to stop her there. He had predicted how the demon was going to do next and made a right move earlier, so he had stuck all of the room's entrances with his talismans. She thought that she could jump out and get out of the room, but once she went through the windows, she got dazzled by the talisman's energies. She was unable to imagine how well Fang had prepared. Fang saw the demon's confusion. He got interested and burst to laugh. He wanted to play the fool with the demon for a while. Everything was like a piece of cake at that moment to him. He yelled at Yun that he had sealed out the room from the outside. She could not escape from him. Fang breathed to the mirror, then wiped the mirror to clean it up, and suddenly pointed the mirror towards the demon. She quickly dodged the attack. Fang kept playing the fool. He moved his hands, showed off some fake poses, and even spitted out some random words to scare the demon to death. He moved the mirror to light up the demon left and right. And so on. The more playful Fang got, the angrier the demon was. She was burning severely by the mirror in the small room where she found it hard to move around and dodge the mirror. A few seconds later, her body was full of injuries. She was filling up with both pain and anger. In confusion, she saw the door behind Sam was opening. Fang had been watching the demon the whole time. He knew that she did not have any strong energies or cultivation to attack him. He could predict that the demon was trying to escape from the room at all costs, so he reminded Sam to be careful. After contemplating, even though the front door was the dangerous way for her to escape, besides, she didn't know well how Sam was capable of, but she had to gamble for her life. Fang was likely to read her mind. He yelled out to Sam to be careful, but it was late already. The demon pushed Sam strongly and stormed outside. She was happy because she was able to get back from the Hell's Gate. The door had set some red magic strings, but she had managed to get out. She stormed out and went through the red strings. The weird thing was the red string was likely to be useless. She just went through it as a red light and disappeared in the air. Fang and Sam were obviously not going to let her go that easy. They chased after the demon. Sam got sad at that moment. He blamed himself that the demon had a chance to escape because of his carelessness. He repeatedly gave Fang his apologies. However, instead of showing the waves of anger in front of the little boy, Fang gave him a big smile and comforted the little boy that everything was still on his plan. Fang had let her escape from the brothel since he didn't want the innocent people got involved to the fight. The two of them hurriedly chased after the demon. Later on, they assured that the demon was about to get back to her hiding place, and they could kill the demon at her root. Fang and Sam then ran out of the town, towards the outskirt. The demon was very fast. She was nowhere to be found in just a blink of an eye. Sam got confused and wondered where Fang headed. Fang surely concluded that the demon had run to the edge of the town already. So, they ran towards the cemetery at the edge of the town. At the cemetery, Fang gave Sam the task of finding the red string among those graves. Besides, he didn't forget to comfort the little boy not to worry that much. Sam wandered around the cemetery, consisting of more than 100 graves there. Most were unidentified graves and got a bunch of cracks on. They could see many bones scattered on the ground as well. The cemetery was probably where the demon brought countless victims to drunk their living souls. Unfortunately, no matter Sam tried, he could not find out where the red string was. After long searching, Fang ignorantly spoke up to Sam that he had seen it already. They had split up to check the graves one by one. Under the dim light of the moon, Fang could see the red string at a sinking grave. Sam was surprised by Fang's ability to see that small red string in a large area cemetery. Anyways, he quickly ran towards his brother and had a look at it. Indeed, there was a red string. He had to give Fang a compliment. They had found out the demon's hiding place. Fang took out another red string which had been covered by red ink. He pulled the string tightly on the grave and murmured that he was going to burn the demon to dust to pay off for her wrongdoings. Fang prepared a magic battle, named Bagua Trap, using the red string as the center, then chanted to call out God of Fire and burn the demon to dust. Fang asked Sam to stand aside as far as he could, to stay away from the unexpected danger that might come. Then he mumbled the spell and called 3 gods of fire to help him out. Right after finishing the spell, there was a burn like a torch coming out from his fingers. With the fire in between his hands, he pointed his fingers towards the grave. The wave of the fire shortly surrounded the place and burned the grave out. The demon was no way to escape from the fire at that moment. The grave was burned and burned badly. Fang had to step back to cover Sam. A few moments later, they saw a human shape came out from the grave and jumped into the air. Fang shouted out that he had found the demon. Under the blame, the demon had to get out of the grave. Her whole body was trapped by the Bagua trap, which showed up her true form. Her horrible screams echoed around the place. She struggled and resisted to escape from the Bagua trap. Later on, the whole body of the demon got burned. The dust flew up and scattered around the cemetery eventually. Fang had defeated a demon without bothering his master. Master Jackie was going to be on cloud 9 when seeing this. He smiled a big smile, proud of himself. That was the very first time in more than 20 years. He had killed a demon on his own without a mistake. Eventually, he felt more confident and ready to boast to his master his accomplishment once he arrived home. While fully excited, Fang realized that he had some work not done yet. He got frightened and shouted out to Sam, "No!" He had headed out for groceries and buying Sam's clothes that day. Eventually, they stuck to the demon trouble at the brothel. He faced up to the sky to check out how late it was. It was dark, and the moon rose up high already. Fang knew that he was about to receive scolds from his master. Imagining how his master was going to punish him, Fang got a shiver down to his spine and dragged Sam hurriedly back home. On the way home, Sam innocently asked after the demon earlier what possibly had cultivated to the demon. Fang was way too hurry home to explain to the little boy. He gave the boy a quick overview that the cemetery bore a heavy dark aura. Most of the graves were unidentified ones that had no one worshipped and cleaned up. So as time flew by, the grudges and loneliness must have formed some dark evils. Fang was running while replying to Sam. Once he reached the front yard, he barely kept his breath. He peeked at the door and wide opened his mouth instantly. It was really late, but Master Jackie didn't go to sleep yet. He was standing in front of the yard and waiting for them. Fang knew that his master must have been angry already. He and Sam were about to get their punishment in no time. Jackie started to interrogate Fang and Sam. He reported what he had experienced in the market, from the brothel to the cemetery, then how he defeated the demon and ended up forgetting to buy groceries. Hearing Fang's battle with the demon, Jackie forgave him for the groceries part. He asked after Sam's new clothes. Fang explained that Sam was wearing his new clothes already. Jackie asked Fang how he called that was new clothes and indicated that Sam's clothes were dirty and torn off. Fang had to swallow his own salvia in front of his master. Sam had helped him a lot on detaining the guards at the brothel earlier. He felt guilty for Sam's new clothes. Master Jackie's face showed no emotion. He put up the ruler and pointed at the nearby chair. Fang had to lie down on it. At that moment, he was scared to death but still kept quiet. Master Jackie handed up and hit Fang strongly in the body to punish him, which made him scream out painfully. Sam stood aside next to Fang and got pitiful for Fang, but still was unable to do anything to help him get away from the punishment. Master Jackie was very strict about teaching his apprentices. To be honest, Fang had won the fight with the demon because he got lucky that day. If he faced a stronger demon, his unplanned actions would jeopardize Sam and his life. Master Jackie hit him to remind him his unplanned action should not have been repeated later on.